We love our Wednesdays, and it's always great to have Andrew Reinhardt in the studio with us, Becoming Gift, with some important lessons for us, which we look forward to every week. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Good morning, Ron and Pat. How are you?
Good.
Hey, I'm good. How about you, Andrew?
I'm doing great. It's
Good
always
to
weird
see
for me not to say Dave. You know, I start with
I
that
know.
name,
Yeah.
and I'm on like autopilot for the beginning of these segments.
Right. Well, you can say good morning to Dave. Yeah, that's fine.
Last week, we started talking about prayer. And with that, I talked about how prayer was really human. It's a very human thing to do. And today, I want to kind of continue that series. And with that, I want to talk about preparing to pray. I think it's important, though, to spend a little bit of time just talking about what prayer is. It's one of those things. It's like the stock in the soup. It's like you ask the fish about the water, and he's like, "What water?" This is just the stuff I float in. And for a Christian, prayer is sometimes one of those things. It's like we all just assume we know what prayer is. And when the Catechism talks about prayer, it says raising the heart or mind to God, raising the heart and mind to God. And when I hear those terms, heart and mind, what I think about is intellect and will, kind of the two sides of the human rational soul, the capacity for the truth and the capacity for the good. And in these ways, we reflect the divine nature, those transcendentals. We're in the image of God, and that we can know the truth and we can do the good, we can love. So it's a matter of raising that highest part of ourselves to God, or opening it to God, or giving it back to God, so to speak. So prayer, I think, when we look at the Catechism, it provides a very broad sense of what prayer is. But it's not so broad that it includes everything. And I think this is important in our society, because when we talk about something like meditation, for example, I think what automatically comes to people's minds in our society are Eastern forms of meditation. Different traditions and practices that come out of the Vedic texts, or Hinduism, Buddhism, and these different thoughts that come from a really different kind of tradition and worldview. And I would sum it up this way. Non-Christian meditation is a matter of emptying the mind. Christian meditation is a matter of filling the mind.
Oh, I like that.
So you're really trying to achieve opposite things. And when the church has spent some time reflecting on these non-Christian forms of meditation, well, they recognize, well, these aren't really prayer. Meaning it isn't really a form of Christian prayer, but it says that they may at times be used as a way to prepare ourselves to pray. Meaning spending some time sort of calming down, emptying the mind, letting go of concerns, and maybe some kind of breathing technique or some kind of attention technique that goes along with that could be helpful to dispose yourself to pray. There's a tradition in our Catholic mystical theology, they call it mental prayer, or sometimes discursive prayer. And what we mean by that is that you're not just sort of saying words or doing prayers, but you're actually meaning them. There's something going on deep inside your soul that corresponds with the actions on the surface. And that's what we mean by mental prayer. We're bringing our whole self into the act, into the way of praising God or of offering the heart and mind to God. So in this tradition, we might do something like taking a piece of the scripture and reading it and thinking about it, or maybe entering into the story with our imagination, or possibly going through a set of different considerations of insights about the scripture that maybe someone has prepared for you, you have prepared for yourself. So this kind of spending time with something and really kind of chewing on it with your mind, trying to enter into it, trying to experience it, trying to let it penetrate deep. And by this act of thinking about the scripture, that's what discursive just means, thinking about the scripture, we're trying to form considerations and affections. So considerations would be like a new thought, a new insight, an aha moment. An affection would be a movement of the heart, meaning like a new feeling about the scripture, a sadness, for example. Like a real common meditation is the Stations of the Cross. That's a meditation. You look at the pictures, you consider what's happening, you pray, and you're trying to let this sink in, and you're trying to form an affection, a movement of the heart of sorrow or contrition, or of being there in the story and experiencing what it was really like for Christ or those with him. So this is the heart of Christian meditation. Picking up the true, the good, and the beautiful, something God has given us, revealed to us, like the scripture, or maybe your own life, like that would be like an examination of conscience, or maybe something from nature or a piece of art. And we think about it, we consider it, we use all the faculties of our mind, our imagination, our memory, our thoughts. And then by doing that, we come to considerations and affections. Aha moments, right? Rising of the mind to God, or affections, movements of the heart, a raising of the heart to God. And this is kind of the basic idea of what our tradition presents to us of this kind of deeper kind of prayer, this mental prayer, this meditation. And I would contrast that then to these non-Christian forms of prayer. Like a mindfulness is a breathing, and then you rest your attention on something, whether it be a breath or a part of your body. And the goal is really to hold your attention on that sensation, right? You're literally focusing your mind on the physical, on, something that's just simple, in order that the rest of your mind might be empty. Or another form would be like a transcendental meditation, where you're using a mantra, a phrase, or a settling sound, and you're holding your attention on to that sound. And what happens is the rest of your mind, sort of nothing's going on because you're providing it something very simple to focus on. And these techniques can be very powerful physiologically, meaning what happens is the body does kind of calm down and settle in, and your heart rate variability, which is a great sign of kind of where your nervous system is, will increase, and your heart rate will decrease, meaning you're getting more calm. And also there's some of these meditation forms have similar effects of sleep on the mind, right? So scientists will say, well, doing like 15 minutes of this kind of meditation is like getting an extra hour of sleep, or you can make up for a lack of sleep by doing it. So there are all these really powerful effects. But I think one of the dangers is when you engage in these techniques without proper formation or an understanding of what's happening, is you can mistaken the predictable psychological effects of that meditation for a mystical experience.
Oh.
Meaning when you do these prayers, when you do these non-Christian meditation techniques, there's predictable psychological effects to them. Meaning you might see like lights in your mind, or you might have a certain sensation or feeling that comes with it, or a certain, just a certain experience in your consciousness that's a result of performing the technique. And that technique causes a physiological change, which then causes an effect in your consciousness, right? So you can mistaken that effect for a mystical experience of God in prayer, but it's not. It's just your neurons firing and your wiring going off, right?
Right.
And so with this, then there's a level of caution that we should take into these non-Christian forms of prayer, understanding that it's not prayer. But like the church says, it may be an appropriate way to prepare yourself to pray, to sort of calm the body down, to focus, et cetera, et cetera. Because if you've ever sat down and tried to meditate, I think a universal experience is what? Distraction and restlessness and an inability to focus, right? So sometimes we need to spend some time disposing the body to be able to enter into mental prayer.
So would you consider the difference that a mystical experience occurs when you're meditating upon God, right?
Yeah, and a mystical experience comes to you from the outside. So it's a grace. It's God entering in. It's the technical term is infused, meaning it's being sort of poured into from the Lord.
Love it.
Okay.
Andrew Reinhardt,
great.
always a joy. Becoming Gift morning
Wonderful.
offering to continue momentarily. Have a great day, Andrew.